You ever wonder what makes one leader just okay and another one totally unforgettable? Well, it pretty much boils down to one thing. Are you leading with routine or are you leading with resonance? That choice right there, it's the difference between people just following you and people truly remembering you. So let's dive right in.
All right, let me ask you something and be honest with yourself. When you think about your workday, are you just busy, checking off boxes, going through the motions, or are you actually being impactful? Are you making a real difference to the people on your team? This one little question, it's at the heart of everything we're talking about today. So, the source material we're digging into tells this really great story. Picture this. You've got a growing company and two leaders working side by side. Now, on paper, they both look good. They're both getting the job done, but over time, something funny happened. One of them just sort of faded into the background, while the other one, well, they became a legend in that place.
So, what was the big difference between them? Well, here it is. The first leader was a master of the system. We're talking processes, rules, checklists, flawless execution. The second leader, though, they played a completely different game. Their focus was somewhere else entirely, on connecting, like really connecting with their people. Two very different styles and, as you'll see, two wildly different results. Okay, so let's talk about that first leader for a second, the one who took the path of routine. This is the kind of leader who lives and breathes order, predictability. Process is king. And look, at first glance, there's nothing wrong here, right? This person was efficient. They loved their checklists, they hit all their deadlines. People appreciated that. But there was a giant piece of the puzzle missing. Yeah, their work was respected, but the people they were leading, they felt nothing. Their hearts just weren't in it. In fact, the source uses one word to describe this leader that just hits so hard: robotic. Just let that sink in for a second. Robotic. I mean, sure, it means efficient, it means dependable, but it also means cold, disconnected, mechanical. Is that really how you want your team to think of you? And this really gets to the core of it. The path of routine, it gets you compliance. People will do what you tell them to, sure, because it's their job. They'll follow the rules. But that other path, the path of resonance, that earns you something so much more powerful: commitment. That's when people want to follow you. They do it because they believe in you. So if routine isn't the answer, what is? Well, it's this idea of resonance. This is where that second leader, the unforgettable one, really came into their own. And listen, this isn't about throwing all the systems out the window. Not at all. It's just about putting people first. But what exactly is resonance? Well, think of it like this. It's leadership built on two key things: relevance and relationships. It means you actually take the time to listen, you're willing to adapt, you're trying to align the work that needs to get done with what your people actually need. See the difference? You're not just managing a to-do list, you're leading human beings. And here's the really cool part. When you lead like this, with resonance, you don't have to go around trying to force trust. You don't need all those awkward team-building exercises. It just happens. When your team feels genuinely heard and understood and valued, trust isn't something you have to chase anymore. It just grows, all on its own. Okay, so we get it. Resonance builds trust. Great. But how do you actually do that? Let's get down to brass tacks here and talk about the foundation. This might be the single most important rule to remember. Trust is non-transferable. Think about that. You can't inherit it from the last person in your role. Your boss can't just grant it to you. You definitely can't buy it. It's personal. Every single ounce of trust you want, you have to earn it yourself. Now, what's the first thing we all say when we hear this? I just don't have time for all that, right? But here's a tough question we have to ask ourselves. Is it really a lack of time, or is it a lack of intention? Is it just not a priority for you right now? Oof, that one stings a little, but it's important to think about. But hey, the good news is you don't need some massive, complicated plan to get started. It's actually way simpler than that. There are just two little tricks to it. First, start wherever you are, like right now. Don't wait for some perfect moment or the right team. Just start. And second, start small. And starting small just means being meaningful and dependable in tiny, consistent ways. We're not talking about big, grand gestures here. It's the simple stuff. It's remembering to ask about someone's weekend and then actually listening to the answer. It's offering a hand with a small task without being asked. Think of it like making tiny deposits into a trust bank account. Over time, they really, really add up. So, what's the payoff here? What's the real reward when you choose this path of resonance over just routine? Well, it all comes down to understanding the massive difference between making an impact and just chasing visibility. Let's go back to our story of the two leaders. That first leader, the robotic one, deep down, they were chasing visibility. They wanted everyone to see how efficient they were, how perfect their record was. But the resonant leader, they weren't even thinking about that stuff. They were completely focused on one thing, creating real value for their team and for the company. And this is such a huge mindset shift. We have to reframe what recognition even is. It's not some prize you get for being the loudest or the most visible person in the room. Real, lasting recognition, it's just a byproduct. It's the thing that naturally shows up after you've made a genuine impact. And that, right there, is the punchline to our whole story. In the end, all the good stuff, the promotions, the respect, the legacy, it all followed the leader who was focused on impact, the one who built resonance. The routine leader, they got compliance. But the resonant leader got commitment, and everything else followed. So we're going to end right back where we started with one last question for you to really think about. As you go about your day and every little interaction, just ask yourself this. Am I just creating a routine, or am I creating resonance? The choice, as they say, is yours.